All right, Madam Clerk, let's call to order the meeting of 3/8/2021 with a roll call.
Mayor Lawson,
Here.
council members Abbott,
Here.
Vanderwell,
Here.
Anderson,
Here.
Ivy,
Here.
Hare,
Here.
City Attorney Adams,
Here.
City Manager Cruz.
Here.
We have a quorum, thank you.
Okay, let's move on to opening ceremonies 3.1. Pastor Pete Vossler, Crosswinds Assembly of God.
Mr. Mayor, I believe that this is him in the waiting room. It just says Pete on it, so I just want to confirm before I bring him over, okay?
Should just say Pastor Pete.
That's right. Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. That's it.
Okay.
Well, I appreciate the work you guys are doing.
All right, whenever you're ready.
All right, thank you. Lord, I'm so grateful for the city of Sparks and the council members, the mayor, the attorneys, the police department, the fire department. They've done such a terrific job during this last season. And I pray this meeting would be blessed by you. You would give them revelation and knowledge and just continue to increase their joy in the job that you have given them to do. And once again, we are grateful for them. Give them a great day, we ask in your mighty name. Amen.
Thank you. Thank you, Pastor.
You're
All
welcome.
right, let's move on to the Pledge of Allegiance. All right, who remembers how to say the Pledge of Allegiance? Donald?
I sure do.
All right.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Very good. Thank you, sir.
Mhm.
Okay. Moving on to item 4, public comment. And I see this is something new here, traffic safety. We have some already up here. Some pictures, Madam Clerk.
That is correct, Mr. Mayor. We had some emails in public comment. With one of the emails came a lot of photos. So we went ahead and attached the photos to the agenda so that you could view them. And I will go ahead and read the email.
Okay, you want to do your disclaimer first?
I will, sir. Just a second. All right. Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us. Due to the social distancing requirements enacted in response to the COVID-19 pandemic, the Sparks City Council meetings will be hosted in this virtual setting until further notice. The safety of Sparks residents, employees, and elected officials are important to us, and we appreciate your patience as we journey through this virtual meeting together. The City of Sparks uses Zoom, a third-party app, for its virtual meetings and does not control its technical specifications or requirements. Your ability to participate in public comment during this meeting may be impacted by factors like the type of device you use, the strength of your internet or cellular signal, and the company that provides your internet or cellular service. The City of Sparks is not responsible if you are not able to participate in a meeting through Zoom due to these or any other factors. For those watching and listening from home, general public comment will be announced for items 4 and 12.1. If you wish to speak during general public comment, you will need to call in using the phone number or join via the meeting link provided on the City Council agenda. Public comment will not be accepted or permitted on social media outlets. Public comment will also be open for public hearing item 11.1. All participants will be muted upon entry to the meeting. If you would like to speak during public comment items, press *9 from your telephone or raise your hand on your computer or tablet when prompted. You will be called upon to speak one at a time by the name or the telephone number you are calling from. No video callers will be admitted to the meeting. When you are called on to speak for public comment, please state your name for the record and begin speaking. The timer will begin when you say your name and you will have 3 minutes. Please remember any comments or questions cannot be addressed or answered by the council if the topics have not been agendized. Any person who disrupts the meeting to the extent that it is disorderly conduct will be removed from the meeting. And at this time, if anybody would like to participate in public comment, please press *9 from your telephone or use the raise your hand feature on your Zoom app. And if it's okay with you, Mr. Mayor, while we're waiting on that, I will go ahead and do the emails.
Please.
The first email that I'm going to read is attached to the pictures that are currently attached to the agenda. We visit your chamber today to echo DeAndrea's mounting traffic safety concerns, specifically speeding and congestion, not only on loop connector arterials Gino Martini, North DeAndrea Parkway, San Marino, but also equally distressing interior residential streets. Careless, negligent, or impaired drivers leave broken or damaged trees, shrubs, fences, light poles, signs, and irrigation equipment costing thousands annually to repair or replace. DeAndrea paths, walkways, trails, and streets carry daily footfalls of our Moss, Mendive, and Reed school children, as well as a diverse array of walkers and runners of all ages, not to mention creative shortcuts children often take. Damaged private city and HOA assets can be replaced, but the price on loss of life is incalculable. Third generation Northern Nevada and DeAndrea resident since 1998, Alexandria Tukori Riley highlights community concerns about the alarming fury and intensity of speeding, reporting that the speeding on Gino Martini is excessive and dangerous. I was almost hit, once at Gino Martini and Inman, and once on Gino Martini while crossing with my dog. Drivers are speeding, distracted, and seem to be unaware of the 25-mile-an-hour speed limit. Property damage caused by excessive speeding constantly erodes city and HOA resources, and the planned expansion of DeAndrea infrastructure is equally at issue. While DeAndrea Ranch Phase 3 nears completion of nearly 500 new homes, the proposed addition of 200 or more new golf course homes and pending construction of a drive-through mini storage facility adjacent to Amore Drive will add significantly more daily trips. The Loop Road and San Marino are primary connectors, but DeAndrea also serves increasingly as a connector for shortcuts, south to Prater and Vista via Premio Way, and northeast from DeAndrea Ranch Phase 3 via Culpeper to Salfos Altos and Vista. These convenient shortcuts amplify traffic volume flowing into or passing through DeAndrea neighborhoods. Key question: do traffic analyses completed nearly 23 years ago at DeAndrea's 1998 inception satisfactorily address 2021 and future traffic safety requisites given increasing traffic volume and infrastructure growth? Recommendation: we ask that City Council and the City Planning Commission revisit and update the nearly quarter-century-old traffic analyses to generate a strategic planning model to optimize current and projected traffic volume solutions, not only internally for DeAndrea proper, but also for peripheral Prater, Whitewood, Vista, Bering arterials, and adjacent communities. We cannot, to the detriment of our residents, ignore the intensifying speeding threat in DeAndrea, nor can we afford to forego the instructive and long-term planning value that a well-researched, updated traffic analysis will bring to DeAndrea residents and the city of Sparks. We implore council to join with DeAndrea in bringing that objective to fruition. On behalf of DeAndrea residents, 2 HOAs, 1 DeAndrea community, thank you for your attention to this matter. George Emery and Corey Quillian.
Okay. Do we have any other public comment, Madam Clerk?
I have 2 additional emails, Mr. Mayor. Please consider this request for public comment at the next Sparks City Council meeting. Dear Sparks City Council, why is the Sparks City Council still refusing to allow in-person testimony from the public it serves? The Washoe County Commissioners safely allow for in-person testimony. The Washoe County School District Board of Trustees safely allow for in-person testimony. Grocery stores, big box stores, restaurants are safely open to the public. Why is the Sparks City Council still hiding behind the Governor's Emergency Directive 006 from 1 year ago? What is the actual threshold the Sparks City Council has set for in-person public testimony? Does the Sparks City Council even have a plan for opening to its public? If it does, shouldn't the public be made aware of what the plan actually is so the public will know when the criteria has been met? Sincerely, R. Crump.
Okay.
And the last one, Mr. Mayor.
Yep, go ahead.
To our city officials, for those who bought lovely retirement homes in Toscana at DeAndrea near Vista, and all others with homes near major throughways in our burgeoning city, I implore our city officials to adopt a noise pollution policy regarding vehicles. I know other cities have done this with success. In the past, air pollution brought us emissions regulations and cleaner air. Now it's time to tackle the unnecessary and constant loud noise pollution from autos purposefully designed aftermarket to sound like muscle cars. The pleasure of any individual should not interfere with the quiet enjoyment of another's home. I believe that is actually a law. If someone set up a DJ station on Vista sidewalk and decided to show off their talent at blasting music, I'm sure officials would pay attention to complaints. Loud auto noise is worse, so the lack of attention to its annoyance is a mystery. In any case, I'd like just one night when I don't have to wear earplugs and use a device to create white noise to be able to get some sleep. Respectfully submitted, Rhonda McCall.
Okay,
And I'm showing no additional public comment at this time, Mr. Mayor.
okay. We'll move on then to approval of the agenda 5.1. Look for a motion. Mr. Abbott,
Move to approve.
okay. Second, by Mr. Dare. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. All right, looking for minutes, 6.1, approval of the minutes from the last, from the budget workshop and the Park City Council meeting.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Ms. Vanderwell.
does legal want two separate motions for this, or can we do it in one? Thank you. Okay, move to approve the minutes of the Sparks City Council meeting and the budget workshop for February 22nd, 2021.
I'll
Okay,
second that motion.
Okay, I got a second by Ms. Spivey. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. All right. Moving on, 7.1, 2, and 3, Mr. Kreutz.
After Mayor Lawson and members of the City Council, for the record, Neil Kreutz, your city manager, here to announce a total of 4 vacancies across 3 different boards. The first 2 vacancies are on our Building Code Board of Appeals. We are looking for either registered professional architects or superintendents with building construction experience, at least 10 years of experience in either of those fields. Vacancies for these 2-year terms will run through, these vacancies will run through, well, let me start over because I'm just making a big mess here. These are 2-year terms that will end on March 31st of 2023. Applications for both of those positions will be accepted through this Wednesday, March 10th at 5 p.m. In 7.2, we have a single vacancy on our Planning Commission to fill a partial term that will end December 31st of 2021. Applications for that vacancy will be accepted until this Friday, March 12th at 5 p.m. And then finally, on our Civil Service Commission, we have a vacancy to fill a partial term that runs through June 30th of 2023. Members cannot be city employees or related to a city employee within the 3rd degree of consanguinity. I think I got that right. Applications for that one will be accepted through Friday, March 26th at 5 p.m. Persons interested in applying for any of these 4 vacancies should complete a community service application available most easily on our website, and that's at www.cityofsparks.us/get-involved, and that's all one big word. Once you're there, click on volunteering for a Sparks board, commission, or committee, fill out the form and press submit. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Kreutz. All right, moving on, 7.4, Ms. Vanderwell, you have proclamation for Women in Construction Week.
I do. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Whereas women throughout Northern Nevada help ensure our economic growth and stability through their many contributions to the construction industry as general contractors, subcontractors, architects, engineers, project managers, and tradespeople. And whereas the Nevada Chapter Associated General Contractors Women in Construction Committee is dedicated to promoting the employment and advancement of women in the construction industry throughout our community, state, and nation. And whereas the Northern Nevada community of women in construction has been a driving force in fostering community development through renovation and beautification projects, promotion of skilled trade careers, and a positive vision of the future. And whereas the 2021 observance of Women in Construction Week recognizes the skill and expertise exhibited by women in the construction industry and their invaluable contributions to the industry and the community. Now, therefore, I, Ed Lawson, Mayor of the City of Sparks, Nevada, do hereby proclaim March 7th through March 13th, 2021 as Women in Construction Week.
Yay. All right. Okay, we'll move on now to 7.5. Do we have anyone from YESCO on the line?
Mr. Mayor, I have 3 of them. So if you give me just a second, I'll bring them over.
Okay, perfect. Well, I could see Jeff. There's one. Hi, Jeff.
Should have Karen and Tom as well.
There's Miss Munson. Hi, Karen.
We're waiting for my father, Tom Young, or Dwan Young might be in the wings waiting.
Here, I have a Dwan Young. Give me just one moment.
Yeah, that's them. Thank you.
Of course.
There we go. We have to teach your dad how to use the mute button.
Yeah, he can get it. And my mom's standing by. That's good.
All right. Let me just start off. I wanted to do this for you guys because you made a heck of a impact in my life when I worked for you for all these years. And obviously politics came out of me working for Young Electric Sign Company and as a government relations guy and the billboard manager and the many different positions I held in that company. So I wasn't with the company when you turned 100, but I wanted to, in my own way here, is to give you a little tribute to your rich history in Nevada, and especially the rich history in Sparks. So let me just read this proclamation. Whereas Young Electric Sign Company, today known as YESCO, was founded in Ogden, Utah by Thomas Young Sr. in 1920. And whereas Thomas Young Sr.'s father, George Young, lived in Sparks, Nevada, and worked for the Southern Pacific Roundhouse when he provided a $300 loan to Thomas Young Sr. to start YESCO. And whereas the first YESCO office in Sparks, Nevada, opened 54 years later in 1964 on Glendale Road, and whereas YESCO has helped tens of thousands of American businesses succeed, providing engaging and well-maintained signs that allow for continuous advertising. And whereas landmark signs that YESCO created in Sparks include John Esquaga's Nugget, the Alamo Casino, Rail City Casino, Baldini's Casino, the Sparks Galleria, and the Sparks Marina and Sparks Crossing. Whereas YESCO exemplifies innovation and creativity and has introduced dozens of new technologies to the state of Nevada and to the city of Sparks. And whereas YESCO has grown to more than 100 locations throughout Northern America, and in 2020 celebrated 100 years as a family-owned business. And whereas the city of Sparks joins the community in celebrating an outstanding business with roots in Sparks that has illuminated the identity of so many companies and organizations for the past 101 years. Now, therefore, I, Ed Lawson, Mayor of the city of Sparks, Nevada, do hereby proclaim March 21st, 2021 as YESCO's 101 years of light. So, congratulations. Jeff or Tom, if you want to say anything, you're welcome to.
Yeah, you'll need to mute, Dad. Sorry. We'll have to get that mute button. Get my mom working on that. Here she is. That's my Dwan. So why don't I start? Because he'll probably want to get the last word. Karen or Tom Weatherby, do either of you want to say something?
I'd like to.
I've got it.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, Honorable Mayor and the Sparks City Council, we're honored to be honored by you today with that fine proclamation. Thank you very, very much. We intended last year in March to hold a great big celebration in Reno, among other places. We were able to hold 3 of them in 3 different locations, but we didn't get around to Reno because the COVID stepped in and we had to cancel out all but 3 of these big birthday celebrations. We did hold a big, the main event was the beginning in February of last year. And then we held two others, one in Denver and one in LA, as I remember now. But we've been doing business in the Reno Sparks area now for 57 years. You know, in the time we live, that's almost a lifetime. That's more than half of our total 101 years existence that we've been there in the Reno Sparks area. We're grateful for that. We're grateful for the hospitality, the friendship, the customers who have purchased our products and services. We're so grateful for that. We still have many good friends in the Sparks Reno area and hope that this may continue through the years. So thank you for honoring us. We are honored to be honored by the Sparks mayor, the honorable mayor, and the honorable city council. So may we have many more years of doing business together. And we hope and pray that this may be our lot. My wife and I, let me just mention her, she's my technical advisor on this hookup. Isn't it wonderful that we can get together this way? We've been married this year in June. It will be 70 years that we've been married. So I will end my remarks there with much gratitude, heartfelt thanks for all of you and the work you do. Congratulations on good work, good jobs, well done. Thank you.
Thank you. Jeff?
Oh, thank you so much. And echoing what my father has said, my father, as you might understand, is second generation. With the company, I am third generation. And I tip my hat to Karen Munson and Tom Weatherby. We worked together for literally a lifetime. I'm unique among perhaps the young family in that I worked in Sparks early in my career, and our daughter Elizabeth was born right there in the St. Mary's Hospital. And we have a deep love and appreciation, not only for the city of Sparks, but for the beautiful area that surrounds Sparks and all the wonderful businesses with whom we've had such a marvelous relationship. You know, we got through the Depression, we got through World War II, we got through the Great Recession. We're just coming to the end of this worldwide pandemic. And more so than ever are these small businesses, our customers, big and small, need to advertise their businesses in order to get their way out of this slump. And we are in a very wonderful position. And we're so grateful to have provided so many services to so many businesses over all these years. And it's truly because of the partnership we have with Sparks City and many other communities, along with relationships with literally thousands of customers, that allows us to celebrate this 100 years. We could not have done it without you and without these wonderful relationships. So we thank you from the bottom of our hearts for everything you do for us. And Mayor Lawson and members of the City Council, we are deeply honored by this recognition. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. All right, Karen, did you want to say something?
I did. For the record, Karen Munson, Area Manager here for Yesco. Mayor Lawson, it's a pleasure to be here and an honor really to be accepting this award from you, being a coworker of yours for so many years, and appreciate not all that you have done for Yesco in the industry, but all sign companies, because you understood the need for signs in our area, and appreciate all the guidance that you have provided, even during your term there as a councilman, and support that you have provided to us. Your staff has done a phenomenal job in helping in times of need, where we have been able to easily reach out and have communication, and very much appreciate that. For those of you who don't know, we were awarded the contract 2 years ago to do the beautiful Sparks letters at both the Marina and at Golden Eagle Regional Park. And so, that's always been one of those extra feathers in our hat, that being such a long time Sparks resident business, and being able to support the city of Sparks as a vendor as well. So we very much appreciate it, and thank you for honoring us at this very, very exciting time for us.
Okay. Thank you, guys. Like I said, you guys shaped the future for me by allowing me to work with you and getting involved in the government relations side of the business. So thank you again. And it's pretty special when you have a family-owned business that's over 100 years old. And that's pretty special. That says a lot about your family. So congratulations, and may you have 100 more.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you guys. We're gonna move on now to consent items. I'm looking for a motion to approve the consent agenda. Ms. Spivey?
Mayor, I'll go ahead and do that. I move to approve consent items 8.1 through 8.3 as presented.
Okay, looking for a second. Mr. Anderson?
I'll second that.
Okay, any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. 9.1, general business, consideration, discussion, of possible ratification of the city manager's approval of an expenditure of $352,774.26 to purchase 6 police vehicles upfitted by Defender Supply Company from Champion Chevrolet as part of the FY 2021 CIP, utilizing the joinder bid from the state of Nevada vehicle contract 99 SWC NV 19-2037. And that is Mark Anderson. Mark.
Mayor, thank you. Mayor, members of council, Mark Anderson, your Assistant Public Works Manager. I'm in front of you today to present the request to purchase 6 vehicles from Champion Chevrolet in the amount of $352,774.26. The vehicles are part of our standard replacement plan. This item is a little different because I'm asking that you ratify the city manager's approval of the purchase, which occurred on February 2nd, 2021. We are going through this process due to COVID and shortages in supply chains. Chevrolet cut off production of the police pursuit vehicles before the city was able to place our order. This was due to the city delaying our purchase process in response to potential budget shortfalls and also Chevrolet experiencing difficulties in the production process. We have not been given any indication when production will come back online. And with this in mind, staff searched and located 6 vehicles at Defender Supply Company, a police outfitter in Texas, and begin the process to secure the vehicles for our fleet, working with our local vendor, Champion Chevrolet. 5 of the vehicles being replaced have reached the end of their service life and are costing more money in repairs than other vehicles in their class. 1 vehicle has been removed from the fleet due to an accident and is no longer available for service. The Sparks Municipal Code grants the city manager authority to approve emergency procurements in circumstances where health, safety, or welfare of the public may be impaired if not immediately attended to. Due to the COVID pandemic, the availability of police vehicles has been adversely affected by supply chain interruptions, and police vehicles are in short supply. The reduction in police patrol vehicles in the city's fleet presents a clear and present threat to health, safety, and welfare of the public, which is why I'm requesting the purchase of 6 police pursuit vehicles. With this, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Questions from the council? Ms. Spivey?
Mark, should we approve this today? What is the timeline on when we think they could actually be in our fleet?
That's a good question. There are still other supply chain interruptions going on. We're hoping that we can see them in the fleet by early fall. We're hoping July, August range, which is substantially faster than what we're being told would be even our next purchase opportunity, which would be the end of this 2021.
Okay, other questions? Okay, seeing none, I'm looking for a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Mr. Anderson?
Move to ratify city manager's approval of an expenditure of $352,774.26 to purchase 6 police vehicles upfitted by Defender Supply Company from Champion Chevrolet as part of fiscal year 2021 CIP, utilizing the joiner bid from State of Nevada vehicle contract number 99 SWC NV 19-2037.
Okay, looking for a second.
I'll second.
Mr. Abbott beat you to it by just a shade.
There you go.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried unanimously. Thank you, Mark. You got this one too, I'm imagining. Consideration possible approval of an expenditure of $292,277 to purchase 1 Schwarz model M6TE Avalanche mechanical sweeper on a Freightliner M2 chassis from Schwartz Industries utilizing Sourcewell contract number 122017-SWZ and MME equipment. Ron.
Good afternoon, members of the council, Mayor Lawson, Ron Corman, your Public Works Manager for the record. We didn't include any change on this one, Mayor, but we did include some long contract numbers. So I am before you today to ask for your consideration and possible approval of an expense of $292,277 to purchase a new sweeper. I believe we have a photograph somewhere.
And no, you cannot drive it, Mr. Dare.
Let's see, do I share to show you those? Let me bring those up here.
But he did say I can go out there and hang out with them. I've already asked, actually.
I heard they'll give you a rake.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can. I don't know if that's sharing or not. Is that showing anything?
Yeah, we can see it on our.
Oh,
screen.
okay. All right, perfect. So this equipment, this is a street sweeper that we utilize throughout the city for cleaning the streets. This particular one that we're asking to replace is approximately 10 years old and has reached the end of its service life. And for us, the service life is when the maintenance costs start exceeding what the depreciation amount would be, give or take. This item was budgeted in the 2021 fiscal budget year as approved by council last May. And we will be purchasing this using a joinder bid, using the joinder bid provision allowed to us by the state of Nevada. And we will be purchasing through a Sourcewell contract and MME equipment down out of Sacramento. This is a fully mechanical rear broom sweeper. This is what we use for general cleaning around the city, you know, for cleaning the streets and whatnot around the city. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Okay, questions from the council? You can stop sharing your screen now.
Yes,
Ron.
sir. There we go. Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Dare.
Yeah, thank you. Just as we keep replacing stuff, I think that's good. Make sure we have the tools doing the job. But we are growing. At what point do we think we need to get another one? Because our streets, we have more streets than we've had before. I know in my ward alone, that's about to expand quite a bit. And time-wise and machine-wise, you're only going to get so far. When do we start looking at another one? Because we just need another one, not just replace.
Well, Councilman Dare, to answer your question, there's kind of a two-part answer to your question. Number one is that we do have extra sweepers, but due to the nature of the work that sweepers do, they spend a lot of time being maintained in our facility. And so having the extra sweepers allows our sweeper operators to be able to turn one into the garage for repairs and then go get into another one and be able to continue working the city. In the last 6 months or so, we have been trying to adopt a policy of sweeping every city street once every 30 days. Currently, we're probably hitting an average of about once every 45 days. And so, you know, an additional sweeper might, you know, in the fleet might be something we could use. However, the sort of drawback to that is that I need a man sitting behind the wheel in order to operate that sweeper. And so, you know, at this time, that is not a possibility. However, with the extra sweepers we have, when we have a need, say, for instance, for sand cleanup after a snow event or during leaf season, we put extra staff into those extra sweepers to get out there to get an extra push into the city. But at this time, I'm not feeling like an addition to the fleet is warranted.
Thank you.
Other questions from the council? Okay, looking for a motion. Mr. Bear.
I move to approve the purchase of one Schwartz Model N6TE avalanche mechanical sweeper from Schwartz Industries Incorporated through the Sourcewell contract and MME equipment in the amount of $292,277.00.
Okay, looking for a second. Mr. Abbott,
I'll second it.
okay. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you
Okay,
very much.
thank you. 9.3, consideration discussion of possible approval to purchase 4 Harris Symphony radio workstations for the Sparks Emergency Dispatch Center in the amount of $212,289.26, being reimbursed by Washington County 9/11 surcharge funds. Ms. Brown, you're up.
Good afternoon, Mayor Lawson and members of council. I am seeking approval to purchase 4 Symphony radio workstations for our dispatch center. These are the 4 additional workstations we need to occupy the additional dispatch workplaces that we're adding in our remodel. Thankfully, this would be purchased by the city, but quickly reimbursed by the E911 funds. The Board of County Commissioners already ratified that purchase cost. So hopefully it's a swift transaction and not really an overall cost to the city.
Okay. Questions from the council? All right, not, I'm looking for a motion. Mr. Abbott,
I move to approve the purchase of 4 Harris Symphony radio workstations for Sparks Emergency Dispatch Center in the amount of $212,289.26 to be reimbursed from 911 surcharge funds.
okay, do I have a second? Ms. Spivey, second?
I'll second that motion, and thank you, Lisa, for your presentation. And it's always nice when we can find other sources of funding to be reimbursed. So much needed, and financially, fiscally, it's a good, it's a win on our side too. So thank you, and thanks to your staff.
Thank you.
Okay, any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. All right, moving on. Thank you, Lisa. 9.4, consideration, discussion of possible direction to apply for FEMA staffing or adequate fire and emergency response grant to hire 3 firefighters for 3 years. Chief Reed, you're up.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor and Council. Jim Reed, your fire chief for the record. Kind of going to be short and sweet today, but I'm here today seeking approval to apply for a FEMA SAFER grant. So like you said, it's staffing for adequate fire and emergency response. I'd like to apply the grant for 3 additional firefighter positions. The grant this year covers all salary and benefits for each of these 3 years. The fire department would have to pay for the PPE or the firefighting equipment, and that cost would be about $16,000 for each fireman. So approximately about $48,000. This grant is due this Friday, March 12th. And so that is my presentation. I don't have any cool pictures to go along with this one, but I'm here for any questions.
Questions from the council? Mr. Dare.
I think it's fantastic. And my understanding of this particular one is that it goes for the 3 years, and then following that comes our responsibility to take care of them, which we know are growing anyway. So this seems to be a wonderful bridge for us and something we can look at, because we've been looking at this for years, trying to make sense of them, making sure they'd work. So I'm really excited that we found it to work. Thank you, Chief.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Any other questions? If not, I'm looking for a motion. Got a motion by Ms. Spivey.
I move to direct the city manager to apply for FEMA staffing for adequate fire and emergency response grant to hire 3 firefighters for 3 years.
Looking for a second. Mr. Dare.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you. Now I got some work.
Yep, now you got to go find them.
Appreciate it.
All right. 9.5, consideration and possible approval of the 2021 Street Rehabilitation Unit 1 in Camino Real Drive neighborhood. Bid number 20-21-007, PWPWA 2021-132, construction contract AC 5737 to Sierra Nevada Construction in the amount of $1,086,000, $86,007. There's a lot of zeros there. Amber, you're up.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Mayor, members of council. For the record, Amber Sosa, Transportation Manager. As mentioned, I'm here today to present to you a construction contract for our FY21 Street Rehabilitation Unit 1 project. Hopefully you're seeing a map on your screen to help orientate yourself where we're looking. To the left or to the west, you'll see North McCarran Boulevard. And to the top or to the north, you'll see East Prater. This rehabilitation unit is just to the southeast. It includes streets of Camino Real, Rancho Villa Drive, Fiesta Lane, and Marco Drive. As many of you know, the City of Sparks ranks our streets on their PCI, their Pavement Condition Index, with 0 being the worst and 100 being the best. This neighborhood has a current PCI of 31. So hopefully the screen just changed for you, and I'd like to show you a couple pictures that we took last week of the existing condition in this neighborhood and show you some of the things that this project will help. To the upper left, you see the roadway section. This project will completely rehabilitate the roadway section. To the right, you see an existing example of the concrete infrastructure. We field walk all of these units and determine any curb and gutter, any driveway, or any sidewalk that is deteriorating, and we replace that with these type of projects. To the lower left, you'll see we also evaluate any pedestrian ramps within the project. Sometimes it's currently just bringing them up to ADA. In this case, we'll actually be adding some pedestrian ramps to increase pedestrian connectivity through the area. This project is a part of our pavement management program, and it had been identified in our 5-year program of projects. We advertised this project January 20th, and we were very excited to get 5 competitive bidders, with SNC Sierra Nevada Construction being the low at the $1,086,007 amount, as previously mentioned by our mayor. With that, I would be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Question from the council. Seeing none, I'm looking for a motion. Mr. Anderson.
Actually, I don't have a diligent in how you're watching these streets, and I'm very familiar with those streets back there, and they're in really rough shape as we saw there. And with that, I'm ready to make a motion. Move to a drive neighborhood project construction contract.
I may have to have someone else make a motion. You're breaking up, Paul.
Okay.
Diane, will you go and make a motion? Do you have it up handy?
I sure will. Thank you,
Thanks.
Mr. Mayor. I move to approve the 2021 Street Rehabilitation Unit 1 Camino Real Drive Neighborhood Project Construction Contract AC-5737 with Sierra Nevada Construction in the amount of $1,086,007.
You want to try and second that one now, Paul?
Second.
There we go. We got you in there. So we knew it was your ward, right? We couldn't hear what you were saying. Any further questions from the council?
Yeah.
Ms. Bybee.
I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor. I do have one quick question, Amber. What is the timeline on this project when you anticipate getting started, and how long, this is a major rehab, so how long will the project itself take to complete?
Absolutely. So the contractor is currently chomping at the bit to start. We expect construction to start within the next 2 weeks, just as fast as we can get contracts ready and get them mobilized. So the construction should start very quick, and we anticipate between 30 to 40 days for this project.
Okay, quick. Boy, that's good for the neighborhood. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions from the council? All right, I got a first and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. 9.6, consideration, discussion, of possible approval of a contract AC 5738 with Eide Bailey LLP to provide financial statement audit services for the city of Sparks, the Truckee Meadows Regional Water Reclamation Facility for fiscal years ending June 30th through June 30, 2023, in an annual amount not to exceed $156,000 in fiscal year 22, $157,500 in fiscal 23, and $159 in fiscal 2024, with mutually agreeable options of extending the contract for each of the 3 subsequent fiscal years. And this is RFP number 2021-006. Deborah,
Hi.
how are
I
you?
just wanted to be the longest motion.
Yes, I can tell.
I'm Debbie Kinder, County Manager for the record, and I'm before you today to seek approval of a multi-year contract with Eide Bailey for financial audit services. It is not required to go out to bid or to get the lowest price for audit services, but it's always prudent to go seek competitors to get the best quality and the lowest price. So we went out in December of 2020 and we received 5 responses to our request for proposals. Eide Bailey's bid is in the middle of that range, but they were the favorite of staff for a couple of reasons. Number one, they are local, so we think that they'll provide more timely and personal service. They also have a larger staff than the 2 firms on the bottom of the range, and that larger staff will provide a wider knowledge base for us to have access to. And they also have extensive experience auditing the city of Sparks. So all of the firms were asked to quote prices for 2 options. One is for the city to continue preparing our financial statements in-house as we have for the last couple of years. And the other is for Eide Bailey to prepare them. And their cost to provide those services is $25,000 a year. We're asking that you approve the contract at that higher value, but we anticipate that we won't actually use it. By using this belt and suspender type approach, that'll give us the ability to have confidence that our financial statements are quality production, even if we have a turnover in staff during the contract term. So we are proposing or recommending that you approve a contract for 3 to 6 years with Eide Bailey. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
All right, questions from the council? Okay, see none. I'm looking for a motion then. Mr. Dare.
I can read the really long motion. Okay, I move to approve the contract AC 5738 with Eide Bailey LLP to provide financial statement audit services for the city of Sparks and Truckee Meadows Water Reclamation Facility for the fiscal years ending June 30th, 2021 through June 30th, 2023, in an annual amount not to exceed $156,000.00 in fiscal year 2022, $157,500.00 in fiscal year 2023, and $159,000.00 in fiscal year 2024, with the mutually agreeable option of extending the contract for each of the 3 subsequent fiscal years, RFP number 202/21-006.
Okay, looking for a second.
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Vanderwell. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Most carries unanimously. Thank you, Debbie. All right. We have no public hearing or action items. We do have on planning and zoning. 11.1, public hearing, discussion and possible approval adoption of resolution number 3376 to certify amendments to the City of Sparks Comprehensive Plan that one, revise existing, adopt new goals, policies, and text to address conformance with the 2019 Turkey Meadows Regional Plan. Two, I got a dry throat. Update figures, maps, statistics, and text for general maintenance purposes. And three, revise existing and adopt new goals, policy, and text to address certain topics, including but not limited to annexation and development, agreement procedures, sidewalks, flooding, transportation improvements, cultural resources, and non-residential land use amendments and other matters properly relating thereto. Go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor and council members. For the record, Sienna Reed with the Planning Division presenting this item. I do have a presentation, so let me get that shared with you. I just want to confirm you can all see the slide for the 2020 Comprehensive Plan Amendment item before I get going. Okay, perfect. All right, so as noted by our mayor, this item asks you to consider and possibly certify a set of amendments to the City of Sparks Comprehensive Plan. So why are these amendments coming forward at this time? As we all know, the 2019 Truckee Meadows Regional Plan was adopted about a year and a half ago in October of 2019. What you may not know is that state law requires local governments to submit their comprehensive plans within 60 days of that adoption. The Regional Planning Commission then reviews those plans and identifies scheduled additions needed to fully implement the new regional plan. That review of the Sparks Comprehensive Plan took place in April of last year, and a 6-month timeframe was agreed upon to bring forward amendments addressing the scheduled additions. To meet that 6-month timeframe, the Planning Commission held a workshop on proposed amendments in the fall and then approved the amended plan in November of 2020. The Regional Planning Commission then found that amended plan in conformance with the 2019 regional plan in January of this year, and now the draft amendments are before you today for consideration and possible certification. Most of the proposed amendments before you today are needed to address conformance with the new regional plan. However, we were able to include some general updates and a limited number of targeted policy changes. So our goal today is to walk through the draft amendments in these 3 categories that you can see on this slide. So starting off with our first category of general updates. Here we have a variety of changes that are needed for overall maintenance of the comprehensive plan. Other than property-specific changes to the land use map, the plan hasn't been updated since its approval in 2016. These updates focus on bringing figures, maps, statistics throughout the plan up to date and ensuring we have the current status of projects and studies, including the long-term fiscal health analysis that was completed in 2019. Moving on to our second category of amendments, which are changes proposed to address regional plan conformance. These amendments also cover a variety of topics, including the identification of the new regional land use framework that's commonly referred to as tiering and how those tiers function. You can see the tiers illustrated on the map on this slide with the mixed use core shown in dark blue, and then tiers 1, 2, and 3 shown in progressively lighter shades of blue. These tiers prioritize the location of growth and infrastructure investment within the region and are a big shift away from the old regional plan that identified centers, both downtown and regional, as well as transit-oriented development or TOD corridors served by bus rapid transit. In addition, both new and modified policies are proposed to address setbacks from regional utility corridors and the preferred hierarchy for locating new or relocated electrical transmission infrastructure. Also, a modification to an existing housing policy is proposed to address the use of the regional strategy for housing affordability in future updates to the City of Sparks housing plan. That study was completed in 2019, and it includes various actions that could be taken to increase affordability. For those actions where Sparks is identified as a lead implementer, what we'd be doing is reviewing those actions to see if they make sense for Sparks and determining how to best integrate them, if at all, into an updated housing plan and possibly our housing policies. We also have amendments to the city's mixed use district that are proposed to address regional plan conformance. To reflect that shift in the regional plan to the mixed use core tier just discussed, there are several changes proposed for the city's mixed use district. First, the identified bus rapid transit route, or BRT route, is transitioned to a primary investment corridor. And that's where multiple forms of investment should be focused. Public investment for enhanced pedestrian and bicycle facilities, public spaces, transit, and infrastructure capacity are each needed alongside private sector investment in infill and redevelopment. Higher order transit service is still supported with this transition from the BRT route to the primary investment corridor, but it's not the main investment focus. The map on this slide shows you the location of the proposed primary investment corridor. That would be Prater Way heading east to Sparks Boulevard, then north of the Marina and connecting to Victorian, and that's generally the old BRT route. In addition, Audi Boulevard is proposed to be a primary investment corridor given its location in redevelopment area 2, the planned RTC Audi Boulevard improvements, and the increased development activity that the city is seeing in that particular area. Mr. Mayor, I have heard that activity centers are important to you, so I also want to bring your attention to the activity centers on this map. They're shown in red and blue. These activity centers exist today to identify locations where compact, mixed-use areas where more intensive patterns of development should be concentrated. There's no change to these activity centers with the amendments before you today. They would continue on in their same location. They would just be along the primary investment corridor rather than the BRT route. The draft changes before you today also reduce the minimum floor area ratio, or FAR, for non-residential development to 0.25 for the mixed-use district, mixed-use commercial land use category, and that's allowed by the new regional plan. Floor area ratio is the result of dividing building square footage by a lot or parcel size, and higher FARs are typically seen in urban settings with taller buildings that cover substantial portions of a site. This change to the 0.25 FAR only impacts areas designated mixed-use commercial, which are shown in this map in pink, not places like downtown Victorian Square, which are shown in the dark red, where higher FAR requirements remain. While minimum densities for residential development have worked well in the mixed-use commercial areas, the higher FARs for commercial development haven't yet been supported by market demand. All right, so transitioning into our third category of amendments with this slide, we have proposed targeted policy changes. These changes are very much limited in scope, and that was intentional so we could ensure that we were meeting the 6-month timeframe that was provided to complete our scheduled additions. So as proposed, there are policies that formalize annexation procedures. For example, for properties that are over 5 acres in size, a development agreement would be required in conjunction with annexation. An application for annexation would also be needed with development intensification. That would be something like the subdivision of a property or a building permit that creates a new home, not for small requests like building permits to construct a shed or re-roof an existing home. Also, to support economic development efforts, there's a proposed change that clarifies our supply of employment land should be evaluated at the citywide level when we have requests to change the comprehensive plan land use category for specific properties, and to address flood-related policies that were inadvertently omitted during the update of the comprehensive plan in 2016. We have several policies addressing flooding that are proposed to be added back into the plan. On the topic of transportation and mobility, a policy is also proposed that promotes alignment of our comprehensive plan and the regional transportation plan as it relates to preferred street design, transit system location, and transportation investment priorities. Proposed changes also identified both Gregg Street and Rock Boulevard as desired locations for future RTC corridor studies. Those studies look at how to best integrate transportation facilities for multiple types of users, like was recently done with both Audi and Prater. And lastly, another proposed policy modification formalizes sidewalk facility location details to reflect the city's current practices. While most of the time sidewalks should be on both sides of the street, there are instances where it's appropriate to have sidewalk on just one side of the street. And this policy will help to provide consistency and predictability to development on sidewalk location. As this is a comprehensive plan amendment, we do, Mr. Mayor, need to take a quick minute and go through the 4 applicable findings that you can see here on this slide. Findings CP1 and CP3 are not directly applicable to this set of amendments, as there are no changes to the comprehensive plan land use map being proposed. So without those changes, neither an analysis of a proposed land use category in terms of its compliance with the regional plan land use and intensity designation, or how that category is compatible with surrounding land uses is needed. Finding CP2 requires comprehensive plan amendments implement the goals of the plan. As proposed, the policy and text changes further implement the existing goals of the plan. And lastly, public notice for the proposed amendments was published in the Reno Gazette Journal, consistent with state law. As previously discussed, the Planning Commission approved the changes in November of last year and recommends Council adopt resolution number 3376 to certify this set of comprehensive plan amendments. And with that, I'll conclude this presentation and be available for any questions that you might have.
Okay, questions from the council? I can't see you guys, so you have to speak up. Okay, now, Mr. Dare.
Yes, thank you. Looking at this primary investment corridor, Audi and the bus one, can you actually explain that? Because we used to have TOD corridors, and I know what that means and what that looks like. And I know we might have some lingering things, but we changed some of that. I just want to make sure I understand what that means to us exactly, terminology wise, if you don't mind.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, it is in some ways a rebranding of the bus rapid transit route. The bus rapid transit route sat within the City of Sparks transit-oriented development corridor that became the mixed-use district. And so with the change in name to the BRT route to the primary investment corridor, we're still noting that we'd like to see investment in transit along that route, but we also want to see many other different types of investment. So whether that be in public spaces, like smaller public parks or little pockets, or whether that be in bicycle and pedestrians, or whether that be in infrastructure. So the goal is that we still want to see these areas in the mixed use district along the primary investment corridor to really become vibrant, more urban types of places. The ultimate goal is still the same, but we're just really broadening out the term to signal that we need multiple types of investment. And it's also reflective of some of the changes that occurred in the regional plan. Rather than having centers and those transit-oriented development corridors identified, it's basically just one mixed-use core. So we're trying to also be in alignment with the regional plan, but still, you know, absolutely in support of revitalization, redevelopment, and investment along the primary investment corridor, and more broadly within the city's mixed-use district.
But this give us this new approach, give us a little more flexibility than in what we're doing. Because I know sometimes with the TOD corridor, we had a few times where we're looking at it and making exceptions, or not, whatever the word is there. They just give us a little bit more of something applicable that we can work with.
The change that I was discussing regarding the reduction in the floor area ratio for the mixed use commercial area, it will. What we've seen is, you know, as you've noted, is that there are exceptions from time to time that come forward, and they're looking to reduce that floor area ratio And so we expect that by going down to the 0.25 FAR, and that's the minimum that the regional plan allows us to go down to, that we won't see quite as many of those exceptions moving forward in those areas that are designated mixed use commercial.
Thank you. That helps. Appreciate it.
Okay, other questions? If not, I'm looking for a motion. Chet, are you speaking?
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion.
Yeah, I believe it's a public hearing item.
Yes.
Okay, so let's bring it to open this up for public comment. Madam Clerk, do we have any public comment?
If anybody would like to provide public comment on item 11.1, please use *9 from your telephone or the raise your hand feature on your Zoom app. And I'm showing none, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, we'll bring it back then to the council. I'm looking for a motion then. Mr. Dare, were you making a motion?
I think it was Councilwoman Vanderwell
Sorry.
or Bybee. Was it? I can.
It was Vanderwell.
Someone did. It wasn't me. They had a higher voice than me, which is hard to do.
All right, Ms. Vanderwell.
Thank you. Mr. Mayor, I move based on finding CP1 through CP4 as set forth in the staff report to adopt resolution number 3376 to certify the amendments to the comprehensive plan associated with PCN 20-0032 with permission for staff to make administrative corrections as necessary when preparing the final comprehensive plan.
Okay, second by Ms. Bybee.
I'll second that motion, and I also would like to comment and thank Sienna and staff for your work on this, and having worked on the the regional plan update through Regional Planning Governing Board, that very arduous process along with Mayor Lawson and Councilman Abbott. I'm really excited to see we are in compliance and we're moving forward with everything we need to do. And there's some exciting changes in what we're doing. And I love the new corridors, the investment corridors make a lot of sense. So thank you for your work. And we appreciate the work to get it together. Thank you.
Any further discussion or comments from the council? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Okay, Madam Clerk, any comment from the public?
If anybody would like to provide general public comment at this time, please press *9 from your telephone or use the raise your hand feature on your Zoom app. And I'm showing none, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, we'll move on to item 12.2, comments from the mayor, city council, city manager. Mr. Dare.
I want to say officially happy International Women's Day. And I will thank my mother, of course, because someone told me that's the first one I should thank, and then my wife, but also everyone here on our staff. I'll tell you, I think it's fantastic. Continue to see us balance out, having different perspectives, and you ladies bring so many wonderful things to the table. So just thank you. It's your day. Happy day. If I could, I'd be buying you all something out, but we're all stuck on Zoom. So you just get an
IOU.
But thank you. Congratulations.
Anybody else? Okay. Seeing none, then we'll go to our favorite subject of number 13. Without objection, we are adjourned.
Have a great day.
Bye, guys.